Okay, Claire.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. It is Thursday, March 10th, 2022. It's 2:30 p.m., and this is the scheduled time for the monthly meeting of the Lincoln County Fair Board. I'm Vice Chair Claire Hall presiding. Also present are virtually our Chair Frank Geltner and Board Member Jim Beisman. So first order of business is approval of the minutes from our February meeting. Christy, did you receive any corrections or additions?
Yes, a few grammatical corrections from Frank, which I'll update.
Okay, then if there are no objections, I will say that the February 10th Fair Board meeting minutes stand approved with the noted corrections. All right, we move on to other business. And first up, we have the OSU Extension 4-H update and update on the fair event. So Todd, are you ready?
Good evening, you bet. Sorry, I'm joining you by phone today. I'm actually traveling to Josephine County to do a 3-day shooting sports training starting tomorrow morning. And I just got off an airplane from Orlando via San Francisco that was delayed several hours and rerouted me through Seattle to get back to Redmond. So I'm a little bit rum-dummy as this day sort of winds to a close. 4-H update, really the same as last month. Things are clicking along. We're very much looking forward to the lifting of the indoor mask mandate, which is upon us very shortly. We have the same number of clubs that we've had for the last several months. We're very, very pleased with that. I did have a conversation with our after-school club leader, Shelly Spangler, who is intending to do a big push of the after-school kids to get more fair exhibits for the county fair. So all in all, we're very, very pleased. It seems like the transition away from COVID back into business as usual, if we can call it that, is going to be expected. We're very, very pleased with that. On the fair side, things are also clicking along. We're getting sponsorships coming in. Heather's making great headway in filling up the main exhibit hall. We have royal contact and a potential contract coming together. All of the things that at this point we would expect to have. Music in the music venue, likewise, just things clicking along. So we're pleased. I don't anticipate any pitfalls or stumbles or things that concern me. The only thing that I'm really concerned about is the metal in the arena. I'm still having supply chain issues. Really even getting bids on replacement bull chutes and iron. I suspect we're going to have to just sort of patch our way through it this year, and that may involve renting bull chutes from Plus One Productions. Plus One, as everybody I think knows, is one of the regular renters of our bleachers, and they have bull chutes that they haul from venue to venue and are willing to rent us their bull chutes. So we certainly have the ability to put the infrastructure together. I was hopeful we would find new metal, but I think at this late hour with all of the supply chain issues associated with producing and or shipping all of the metal, I suspect we're probably not going to find new stuff, and we're going to be limited to, as I said, just sort of piecemealing and getting it through one more year and potentially renting bull chutes. No other updates come to mind. Certainly willing to answer any questions if I've omitted anything or my foggy brain has skipped over something that we talked about previously that needed an update that I didn't get to.
Todd, this is Wayne. I have one thing to update for you because you had asked at the last meeting about the City of Newport's Ordinance 2178, the single-use EPS foam and plastic food service ordinance. And it appears, I just confirmed that on Monday night, the City Council decided not to implement that at this time. They have instead formed an advisory group that's working with vendors and restaurateurs across the city to look at some supply chain issues. They don't think they can implement it immediately. It was going to potentially impact the fair activities, but they're looking now at a potential starting date of January of 2023. But in the course of having a discussion with the city folks, I raised the issue of I took a look at the ordinance, and it doesn't really seem to talk about single use. It talks about single use utensils and foam and things like that, but it doesn't talk about situations like the classic ones would be the fair, seafood and wine festival, those in which vendors are coming from the outside for a single event. And how do they actually look at implementing the ordinance in those situations? They were actually glad that I raised that issue because they had not really worked through that. And so they're going to take that back through their advisory committee to try and get some guidance and develop some regulations around how this will apply to events like the fair.
Thank you, Wayne. And I had seen the postponement of that in my news feed as well, and forgot to mention it. And I'm glad that they are looking into how that would affect us, because you're right, the ordinance was very unclear. So hopefully the advisory board and the panel they're putting together will address those issues, and before fair next year we'll have a little better guidance on the expectation. Thank you for remembering that.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions for Todd? Well, if not, I'll say, thank you.
I do have a question for Todd.
Oh, okay.
Quick one. Is there a way in your spare time, I know you have plenty there, in your spare time, if you could shoot me a layout of the tent placement for this year's fair?
Yes, it'll be no different than it was in the past. It would help to know what you're trying to accomplish, Jim, if to give you some maybe more exacting and I guess I would say right up front that I always do it 17.5 paces to the left by 13 paces north or thereabouts. So I'll have to go measure it for you if you want something better. Something you're trying to do that I can answer better.
Well, I've received some information from Jenny Damaris that she was talking about during one of her large events. She was wondering if we could set the tents up in advance of the fair, and that way she could take advantage of the tents being in place. So if I know where you want the tents, then she can take advantage of that, and we'll just set them up early. I lost you.
Garbled, but what I took from that was that she wants to do something at the fair or in conjunction with the fair, and if she knows where our tents are, she can lay out her tents.
Yes.
My suggestion would be, if she's going to do something at the fair, we certainly need to know about it. And
yeah, this is just in the preliminary setup, and I'm just wanted to plant the bug in your ear.
Okay. Again, not knowing exactly what she's trying to do, I can give you a preliminary layout, but we also have big things like the bouncy houses and vendors that would interfere with open spaces beyond the tent layout. So if this is something that she's trying to do at the fair, I'd like to work with her to figure out what she's trying to accomplish and how we best integrate that. Of course we will.
Okay, I will call you after the meeting.
Perfect. Yeah, you got my cell number. I'll be on my cell phone probably for the next 3 hours heading to Grants Pass.
Okay.
Does anybody else have anything for Todd? Okay, well, I think we'll say thank you for another good comprehensive report and look forward to hearing from you next month.
Thank you all as always. We couldn't do it without you. I'll sign off and listen as I drive.
All righty. We're up to county staff update. Wayne, do you have anything?
I do. And the main thing is, as we talked the last several meetings, the memorandum of agreement between the Fair Board and the Board of Commissioners, which you have given your assent to, and we're trying to get that in front of the Board of Commissioners officially. It's taken a little time to get that happening, but that is scheduled for next week's agenda for the Board of Commissioners. So Claire, you'll be looking at in your capacity as the chair of the Board of Commissioners. And so that'll be at, and help me with this, Claire, the meetings are 9:30 still? Or did they move to 10:30?
They're at 10 o'clock on
10 o'clock. Okay. See, I'm retired, so I don't know when any of the meetings are anymore. So it's 10 o'clock next Wednesday. It'll be on the board's agenda, and you can access that, of course, through the board's website to get that. But that'll be officially presented to the board next week. So we're continuing to move forward with getting that agreement in place, and then starting the process of soliciting new Fair Board members.
Hooray. Hoorah. Jack, do you have anything?
No, nothing more than the standard, keeping up with damage as it occurs. Looking forward to the day when we can start tearing down and building up again.
You and me both.
Claire, one other thing
Yes, Wayne.
I forgot, sorry. And maybe Christy knows, apparently there was somebody was coming in talking about a rental of the Commons site. And I just got bits and pieces of this, that it might be I don't know if it was the car vehicle rental that comes through, where they rent the entire site and do that, or what it was, but apparently they were told, well, just bring it to the Fair Board. And I don't know if Christy, if somebody's talked to you about that, I don't have any of the details or know exactly what it is.
Wayne, Christine, to step out for just a second. This is Asia.
Oh, Asia, do you know what it's about?
Don't.
Okay.
What,
Todd, do you know?
yeah, I do. At least I think it's probably the same thing. We were contacted again by, I think the name is Dealer One Stop, and they were an outfit out of Florida that rented the south half of the fairgrounds last year for a show. It wasn't in conjunction with Nissan. It was another dealer group out of the Willamette Valley somewhere. And they reached out to us asking if it would be available again. I put them in touch with Eli, and we've really, and then Eli and I since had a follow-up conversation, and we've not heard, to my knowledge, anything back from them. So my guess is they probably found another location or are no longer interested, because Kim, the gal that we had contacted with previously, was usually really on the spot with communication. We haven't heard anything, makes me think that they've moved on from us, and that's not an issue any longer.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Is there anything else for the good of the order before we wrap things up?
Yeah, could Wayne maybe outline the plans for soliciting new board members?
And my understanding, the way that'll work is that we, the normal process for doing this, it runs through our PIO, through Casey Miller's office. He'll put out public notices. We'll do an announcement, obviously, with the Board of Commissioners for this, especially since this is something that's fairly new. We'll want to make sure we work through our various stakeholder groups and to see if they can identify any potential candidates. There is an application process they use. There's an application form that people will fill out, get that information in, and then the board will review the applicants, could do interviews if they so desired, and then make selections.
And then at some point, don't we need to kind of come up with a methodology that each of us rotates off, but
Right.
not at the same time?
Yeah, once we do that, we'll talk to you guys about seeing if we can't stagger your coming off of the board.
Okay, yeah, that was my concern, just that you don't have to start from scratch.
No,
So you're saying we're going to stagger off the board, huh?
you're going to well, isn't that appropriate for the temporary fair board members to to leave the board staggering? I think that's probably appropriate.
Now in
I'm
the
probably gonna
13th
more like crawl.
Yeah. Now in the 13th year of our 1-year appointments.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Has it been that long, Claire, really?
It has 2009, Jim.
2009, it was what, that's
Oh,
right,
man.
2009.
The last board quit as a group, and
So
That's when we-
I just want to clarify one thing, because according to what Wayne put together earlier, I would no longer be able to serve on the board since I no longer live in Lincoln County. Even though I own property in Lincoln County, I don't live there. Is that correct?
Under the language we've got in the MOA, you have to be a resident of the county to be a fair board member. So that'll be on a go forward basis. That's going to be the requirement. I think you can serve, Frank, until, you're replaced in that sense.
Okay.
That's fine. That's not
Okay.
a problem. But we
All
know,
right,
we're
good.
moving that direction, but the new candidates have to be. In fact, I've had a conversation with a couple of people who are interested and actually very involved with the fair. But the way that's going to work is you have to be a resident of Lincoln County.
Okay.
That really wouldn't apply to Frank, would it, Wayne? I mean, it would be a go forward.
That's what
kind
I
of
just said.
thing.
Go forward. Am I on?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
my
you're
microphone
on.
open? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
I
what you
just wanted
said.
to,
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify.
No,
He
we can
he'd
do,
say
we can
go
go
replace.
forward. Yeah, we can go forward the way we're going right now, but we're going to be replacing. Frank will not serve another term. Let's put it that way.
All right, very good.
Okay.
none of us
Okay.
will.
No, as I understand it, unless somebody wants to apply. Jim, if you want to apply again, that's fine too.
Let's see, Claire, what year was it I submitted my letter of resignation, 2018?
I think so, yeah. And then you said, okay, that was when you were going to cycle off, and 4 years later, here we all still are.
I'm serious. I think if I go back and look, it was like 2018.
It could have been.
Yeah, I can check that. Okay.
Oh, by the
any-
way, one
Huh?
other thing for the good of the order, I'm expecting company next month during the week of April 14th. I may not be available on the 14th of April for that meeting.
All right. And Todd, I was just going to say bullshoots. Everybody be careful and not say that too fast. All right. Anything else for the good of the order? Hearing none, I will remind everybody that the next regular meeting of the Lincoln County Fair Board is scheduled for April 14th, 2:30 p.m. and it will be conducted virtually over this Zoom and YouTube platform. Until then, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.